Any man who must say, I am the king, is no true king.
Hey y'all, it's Black Jeremy again. And thank you for sticking by for as long as you guys have. I know it's been a long time. It's been damn near a month since my last big upload. So here we go now with actual episode 2 of the Tales of Soldor. And yes, I am working on it, episode 3. Good thing I'm already working on it now, so it shouldn't take as long as this one. Alright guys, hope you enjoy. Peace. Previously on the Tales of Soldor. The gods of yonkia were meant to make a meetings of men's, but it would seem some treachery were going about amongst the yonkia gods before the meeting ever began. When it does, bombs or explosions of some technological sort attacked this meeting. And now we look at the aftermath. In The Tales of Soldor, Episode 2. A year before the meeting of amends. On the continent of Steeloth, the land ravaged by volcanic fury, towering peaks belched plumes of sulfuric smoke that choked the air and coated the barren ground in a fine acidic dust. Only the most resilient and peculiar of creatures could ever endure the harshness of this realm, where veins of precious ore and rare herbs lay hidden beneath the deep desolation. In this toxic landscape, a clandestine meeting unfolds, its significance not lost amid the swirling ash. Tao. Emerging from the shadow like a specter, Tao reveals himself. Anul, I see you've brought company. He gestures towards Anul's companion, Celmon, whose ever-present smirk always hinted at his mischievous nature. Well, can't trust a young kind. I see you brought a little bit of company of your own. It's been quite some time, Lagan. Lagan, his brow furrowed with ever-present concern, nodded. Ah, it has. You still making those quaint little stone golems you love so much? Not as diminutive as you may remember, old friend. Lagan with a raised eyebrow. I can imagine so. Have you ever considered using those refined iron like I suggested, instead of the stone? Ugh. Young kind. Your kind will never know true harmony, turning stone to iron. Where exactly does the mother wills fit in this, please? Lagan with a sigh of frustration bubbling beneath the surface. Ah, the mother's will again. Celmon, I'm certain if we perfect a transfer system of some sort, we could... His impassioned speech was abruptly cut short by a piercing glance from Tao. You forget yourself. Aye, for a moment. Sorry about that. Tao, regaining his composure, turned his gaze to Anul. We don't see eye to eye on a great many things, you gods and us, and even more so you and I. Yes, we don't like each other. Can you get on with it? You brought us here for a reason. Yes, Celmon has a point. Can you please get on with it? Tao took a measured breath and weighed the words, for he knew they could be palpable. Let us begin in honesty. We know of your elves. Anul feigning indifference. And
we don't agree.
Of course you don't. And of course you know about your little dwarves crawling around the mountains like roaches.
Ah, our dwarves. Crafted with a great deal of love, as I'm sure you poured into your elves. This is what concerns me. We believe we've made the perfect mortals to roam, to breathe new life into the great gift.
Weighing his words carefully.
We do not want your hands on them. And I know you, Anul. You don't want us meddling with your wilted flowers.
Anul's smirk faded, replaced by a calculating gaze. Ah, yes. We would certainly improve your dwarves. The enhancements may leave little of them left. He finished with a diminutive wave, a glint of malice in his eyes.
Precisely. We want to launch our dwarves, and we prefer you keep your hands to yourself. We do not care for your elves, nor do we have any need of them. How about we launch ours, you launch yours? What do you say?
Anul's shock morphed into a deep contemplation, his words halted by the gravity of the moment. I can't. I've tried this already. Too many times. Too many guys oppose the idea. I haven't had the majority vote on this topic for far too long. Our sect has dwindled into a minority, I'm afraid.
We suffer the same. This battle has exhausted all of us more than we anticipated, to the point where concessions have become possible. Many among I disagree with.
Celmon raised an eyebrow in curiosity. Concessions?
Like starting over with you, scrapping the dwarves, while you can scrap your elves, and we begin anew.
Anul aghast.
I would never agree to that. This is heresy.
He was interrupted with a firm hand on his shoulder. Celmon spoke softly.
Now that we're here, I have heard whispers among our fellow gods discussing something similar to this. Anul glared at him. The fools! We have delayed too long. If we are to start over now, the toll!
He glanced at Celmon, then turned his attention back to Sal.
So, yonkia, what do you propose?
Reluctantly, Celmon braced himself to listen. Tao leaned in, his voice conspiratorial and whisper.
I have tried for eons to change the minds of my fellow brothers and sisters, but this war has hardened them against this compromise. I say we get rid of them. Get rid of them? You mean murder the blessed? Is that even possible? Not quite kill. We all have corporeal forms that tether us to Soldor. Once we complete our tasks in this cycle, we are meant to shed these forms. We may have a way of doing this beforehand.
So we wouldn't be killing them, you say? Anul exchanged a meaningful look with Celmon, who nodded in approval. Anul confidently. I assume the only reason you've come to me is that you couldn't do this without our magic. Is that fair?
And despite our disagreements, on this one matter, I believe we share the same mind.
Celmon's eyes widened in realization.
Oh, by them! You mean to combine our magic and your tech, don't you? That's what Lagan meant earlier.
Lagan proudly.
We could do it, Celmon. We were so close last time, and I've made many improvements to our designs.
With renewed excitement sparked in eyes of Celmon, he examined the new designs Lagan presented.
Oh, Lagan, you're a genius. I also have a few new tinkerings that I'm sure will complement this new device splendid.
So what is this device supposed to do exactly?
It's meant to enhance your magical capabilities. All those go glowy spells you have, they go in here and they come out several times stronger. It's true, Anul. With this, I could create iron golems.
Anul looked between them, intrigued, flickering his eyes. So Tao, what's the plan? With a vicious smile, Tao began to outline his scheme. And now, we take our times to the present day, in the aftermath. The ground trembled softly, a soft rumble that seemed unnoticeable at first. Yet the very sand beneath the feet began to bubble and glow. Bursting forth from the earth, shards of crimson glass cut into the bodies of the blessed, staining the glass polish with blood and sinew. Those unfortunate enough to be caught in the initial eruption were kissed by fire, condemned to linger in their anguish. The unnaturally hot flames licked at the blessed, bringing with them the kiss of death. A mere ember was all it took to ignite all-consuming blaze, and the corporeal forms of the blessed proved no match for the inferno unleashed by the eruption of some magically infused technology, the likes of which never before seen on Soldor. Out of the 89 blessed that filled the grand auditorium, only 7 would emerge unscathed, for they were the farthest from the initial impact and closest to the exit. 3 yonkia, 4 gods, that was all that remained. As they trudged through the desolate wasteland towards their empty homes, the silence was deafening, filled only with the echoes of their betrayal and the last panicked screams of their now damned brethren. Now we turn our attention to the yonkia as they retreat to their mountains, preparing to erase all of their existence as they set the stage for their precious dwarves. The mortals meant to give meaning to all this death.
Tao, we need to talk.
Not now, Lagan. We must make haste if we are to launch the doors before the gods.
Before the gods?
His face twisted in rage and disgust. He lashed out at a stunned Tao.
This has gone too far. You know it. This is genocide. And we are its architects.
It's too late, Lagan. What's done is done. We cannot turn back the dials of time. We will correct this mistake with the dwarves.
Lagan's fury exploded.
The dwarves?
Tao, who had been relentlessly packing and dismantling their presence, was suddenly held still by Lagan's powerful hands.
Look at me, Tao.
Tao's head hung in shame. He couldn't meet the eyes of his closest friend. Yet he felt the weight of Lagan's anger and disappointment lingering between them. Lagan roughly shook Tao.
Look at me. We cannot do this. We can't launch them. Not now. The path we're on is wrong. I see it now. We must do this with them. Tao, can't you see that?
Lagan's face softened, revealing his guilt, awakened from his stupor. Tao finally met Lagan's gaze, tears welling in his eyes, reflecting a painful redness.
I did not want this. Our family is dead, Lagan. This is not what I wanted.
Overwhelmed, Tao broke down. Shuddering in despair, Lagan released him, sorrow washing over his own features. As Tao sobbed into his hands, he turns toward a soft denial.
No.
Shaking his head, he built his resolve.
No. We must persist. If not, the sacrifice was in vain. And that's a crime that will not be forgotten nor forgotten.
Wiping the tears from his eyes and the distance himself from his own emotions, he continued.
Now we must persist. The dwarves can make this right, I'm sure of it. They will see this is the correct choice. This sacrifice our brothers and sisters have made, it must be respected.
With a frantic determination, he nodded vigorously.
Yes, we must put our faith in the dwarves now, more than ever. This is their way. This is the only way, the world's way.
Confusion, rage, terror, and above all, loathing surged within Lagan at the sight of this once trusted friend.
Savant was right.
What did you just say?
Standing tall, his eyes wild with a newfound madness, Tao faced Lagan. The redness from his tears was now gone, replaced by a clarity fueled by fury.
What did you just say? What choices that leave us now? Do our dwarves mean nothing to you? Does the cycle mean nothing to you?
With furrowed brows, Tao rage seethed through his clenched teeth.
We have made our choice, yes. Things went farther than we planned, but we have made our choice, friend.
The disdain dripped from his words.
And now that we're here, we must capitalize on the situation, no matter the grimness, no matter the steep price that's already been paid. And you will not take us back because of your weakness and guilt. Live with it like I must, or be gone from me. Your weakness could be infectious.
Tears brimming in the eyes of a broken Lagan.
It seems you are truly lost to me. I cannot follow you any further.
Without glancing at Lagan, Tao resumed his work, his voice cold and filled with malice.
Then move quickly. There's work to be done, and you will slow it down.
As Lagan prepared what little had left to him, ready to abandon his path, Savant, oblivious to the somber exchange, called out for him.
Lagan, where are you going?
Without ever looking back, Lagan stepped onto the snow-capped mountains, disappearing into the fierce snowstorm of whiteness, searching for his own way. A concerned Savant turned to Tao.
What was that about?
Tao continued his work, refusing to meet her gaze.
The deaths of our brethren have shaken him. He does not like my response.
Savant pressed on. Your response?
Tao nodded, anguish flicking across his features.
Yes, I simply said that it was the past, and our main objective should be to launch the dwarves before the gods send their elves. This tragedy they created was meant to end all of us, Yonkai, and any descending gods that still had Yonkai sympathies. All of us, for their damned elves.
He sneered in bitterness seeping through his voice.
Savant knelt beside Tao, holding him close. Oh, Tao, I understand, my love. And we could do this with just us. Our children will thrive nonetheless.
Tao, with a dispassionate, looked up at her, desperation in his eyes.
How? They will lose. We have lost too much. Too many of us are gone. And now it's... If we don't launch them first, they will be even farther than disadvantaged. We must.
Savant stroking his hair, a voice soothing.
No, lover. They will win. We will leave gifts for them. Their curious minds will find them. And then we must simply have hope in our children.
And so, from the mountains of Galad sprang the first Raystone Soldor, the dwarves of Galric. Solitary yet open, they took their first steps in the world, being the first mortals to touch Soldor. Now we turn our sights to the delayed elves, deep within the shadow forests of Histara. A now blinded and defeated Anul sits with the remaining gods to discuss the future. Broken and disheveled,
Anul and Celmon speak in their private chambers as Abigail and Salem prepare the elves for their impending launch. Anul, I know the events of this meeting have. He gazed at the once mighty Anul, now a mere wretched of a being. Shaking you. Shaking me? No, Salmon. I finally see things clearly. This is why you must listen to me now more than ever. I have delayed us on purpose. Don't let my arrogance lead us down this path any farther. A road you chose, but we walked together. And now it's you who've delayed us. I don't understand. Was this all for nothing? Anul removed the bandages covering his eyes, revealing the hollow husk. He's focused his now sightless gaze on Celmon. I have been blind. I have allowed arrogance and pride to overshadow my every decision. And now that after losing my eyes, I finally have sight, Celmon, please. We must go to the Galad. We must go to the yonkia and ask for their forgiveness. And work together and make a new way. This was the decree. Celmon turned his back to Anul, tinkering with a small device on his bench. Anul, the highest among us, the bravest, strongest, king of the gods, a great leader. But what accolades qualify you for this title? Celmon continued, his tone mocking. Was it you who convinced the elves? Did your magics forge the unity? Was it even the strength that gifted to our great devices? Lagan contributed more than you, a yonkia. Yet we all call you the king of the gods. King of the gods. Oh my God. Why do you have that, Celmon? Celmon, with a manic gleam in his eye, retorted. This is the end of all this. We've delayed too long. The yonkia succeed where we have failed. We need a new king, Anul. Anul's godly rage surged, filling the room with a palpable tension. You dare? I do. Celmon pushed the small spell through the back of the ornate box as Anul rose to challenge his death. And Anul, who had the benefit of being his own epicenter, felt nothing as his corporeal form was ripped asunder. Dusting his hands, Celmon sneered. King of the gods. Stepping over the shattered remains of his left behind by Anul, gradually Celmon made his way back to the main chamber, where Salem and Abigail were hard at work preparing for the elves' arrival. Busting through the door, Celmon met the eyes of the only two gods remaining. Bah! What is it now? Celmon barked, his irritation palpable. In what new way has he delayed us? Celmon fell silent, his face a mask of turmoil. Abigail, sensing the gravity of the moment, implored. Hush, Salem. What has transpired, Celmon? Concern laced her voice. Celmon, on the brink of tears and breaking down, murmured. Anul, he's torn himself asunder. This cannot be. Whispering, her hands passed to her mouth. Celmon continued. Anul's been in his mood since the treachery of the yonkia attack. His moods? Every day he's delayed us, sabotaged us, all because of his lost sight. I have had enough. This may be for the best. Now we can send our elves to Soldor, catch up to their dwarves. This is true. We can finally launch them now. We can finally move on. So, We are here now, the gods of the elves. Let us memorialize our fallen leader with this new religion. Launching them is one thing. We are meant to leave this plane when they arrive. How do you expect to impart this religion to them, Celmon? Celmon retorted. We stay.
Sacrilege!
Salem exclaimed, his voice a mixture of anger and disbelief. Celmon, with renewed fervor, insisted. Sacrilege would be letting our elves try and thrive on their own. They are weaker now, and they will need our aid if they are to complete their tasks. They will need our help.
No, we've done enough. They will be fine. We do not have to further corrupt the process with our presence.
Salem warned. Let us hope the yonkia share your thoughts. What do you mean by that? Abigail asked, her brow furrowed in concern. If they were willing to kill their own and ours, why would any of them have any respect for the decree or rules even made by them?
Yonkia.
If you don't think they stayed down in their mountains and guided them, then I believe you to be more fool than I thought.
Keep your tongue to yourself. Celmon, I'm beginning not to trust you or them. If we do this, we can stay no longer than a year, and they must do the rest on their own. We must leave then.
Celmon turned to Abigail, seeking her support. Then it's agreed? Abigail took a deep breath, weighing the gravity of the situation. Yes, for only 1 year. We don't have to do anything for them, except to provide knowledge as they ask for it. Celmon nodded, a smirk creeping upon his face. And let us begin then.